In a headquarters above a store on Chicago's near northwest side, the Spanish Action Committee, membership Puerto Rican, meets to cope with some problems of its people.
Well, the Spanish Action Committee came into existence because of the riots of 1966, of June 1966. At that time, there was no leadership in the Puerto Rican community, and the Spanish Action Committee took the initiative to set up an organization and try to build out of this organization some leadership within the community.
Well, you come with that concept from Puerto Rico that you know, you come with that dream of coming here to make the money and go back to the island, which this is one of the things that, and then the misunderstanding of the community, of the other communities, that as newcomers, like they say here, I don't consider ourselves newcomers, let's put it that way. We've been here way before, I guess, Columbus, I guess, you know. But the thing is that you come here with this bag of make the money going back to Puerto Rico. There's a dream, and that dream, when you come to see the realities of America the Beautiful, like they painted in Puerto Rico, to the real realities here, the racism, the economic situation where the family breaks down. Before, the old man was the man that brought home the bacon. Now he has to share that role with his wife because what he makes is not enough, and we get the menial jobs and so on. And all this put together in a pot, so to speak, you know, and it got to the point that there happened to be the first recognition the city of Chicago gave the Puerto Rican at that time, which was the first Puerto Rican week and the first Puerto Rican parade. As a matter of fact, the riot, it was the last day of Puerto Rican parade. It all blew up, you know, and the pride at that time, the tension of the first time being recognized, and then plus the tensions of the problems themselves that were there. And we have a problem with the police and this young man that got shot. Then a police dog bites a little girl, and boom, that just blew the lid off. And during the riots, when we saw the need for organizing and the need for some kind of a vehicle for the community to have, so that they could in turn, how would say it, get the needs across to the majority of the people in power, or the people responsible for the needs of the community, that we felt that we had to get involved. And I myself, since I always been working with kids, so I got involved and talked with the youth panel there. Since then, we've been working with the workshops and what have you. Then when we saw the problems started coming from the community with the schools, teachers beating up on a kid, or the parent cannot speak English, you don't know who to go to, or how to take care of the problems there. So the organization got together and decided that we should have a committee to deal with the education problems which the community is having in the area. And I got sort of tabbed with the chairmanship of that, and this is how I've been involved in the whole process of education here. I am a member of the district board. We had to sort of fight our way into that. I am also involved in various different viceries, like the bilingual center, which we had to fight that in '67. We had a big battle with the Board of Education and what have you to get a bilingual center type of operation here. My role also is to go around to different community organizations, give workshops, be a sort of PR in terms of the organization, and also with the education, working with the education problems themselves.
These young Puerto Ricans living in a big city such as Chicago find the deck stacked against them in many ways, some obvious, some subtle. Discrimination and poverty usually confine them to the inner city. There, in addition to inadequate living conditions, they confront a school system so burdened with problems that many people despair of their ever being solved. Puerto Ricans are overcrowded, undertaught, victims of a money squeeze between overtaxed property owners, overworked school teachers, and under-involved legislators. Too few teachers understand them. Too few principals consider them. Too few counselors encourage them. Many of them go from school to a family in which no English is spoken, and big city customs seem strange to island-reared adults. In an attempt to do battle with some of these forces, young members of the Spanish Action Committee began meeting to discuss their mutual concerns. They found them to be similar.
I feel that the school in itself is very unaware of its problems, the community around it, of the environment that's happening inside, and I feel they're very insensitive towards it itself. And I feel that this is a very big problem that we are facing as of right now. And I don't know much of the solution to it, but we should combat this problem, or the institution should. I don't know what you guys feel about that.
Well, like I say, there are problems for the Latin American students, there are problems, everywhere. In the school, I mean, speaking elementary-wise, and high school, and college, like they would all tend to always be tied up.
Well, I think they're they feel very uncomfortable because the situation that is created within the school, it gets tense, and of course when it gets tense and the problems start building up to an amount, I think this is where you begin to get the dropout rate coming in, and this is when you begin to get the problems that are out of the community, that are outside the school, which are created by the school because of the dropout. Then you develop delinquency, and you develop all these other kind of problems due to the fact of the school not functioning in its proper manner.
Well, like, basically, the problem starts in the home, inside of the home, where the parents don't have communications with the children. The parent, the average Puerto Rican parent, speaking the average, they're more preoccupied with bringing in the bread,
Well, it's necessary to bring in the food, and I think we're all aware of this because that's the important thing of the adult role plays.
Don't misunderstand my point. What I'm saying is that they don't have time to spend enough time with their students, look at their grades and talk to their grades. What do you plan to do when you get out of high school or when you get out of elementary school? What courses are you going to go into high school? They just don't have not enough tight communication that is what is needed.
Right.
And you dig what I mean?
Right. It is. I think it is even harder to go about the problem, and after you develop a high dropout rate, how to get that portion of young people that have quit school and have no way out because they're too young to get a job and they're too old, too young to go to the army. And I think this is where you really begin to develop the difficult problems. And if we're going to have a war against gangs and a war against delinquency and everything, which this city is doing, I think first we have to go to the root of the problem by attacking the individuals out in the street and picking them and putting them in jail. I don't feel the solution to the problem, but the root of the problem, I think, education is one of the main goals. That this is where it is a root, where the root of the problem is. And I feel if we go into there, some of these problems that we have other than our education can be solved also. And I think maybe Carmen, you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, since I am myself a high school dropout, I feel that, as you said, that the problem is mainly in the home. The reason I dropped out of school is because of the problems that I had in the home. I don't know, maybe there are some students that just dropped out because they just didn't like school, but that wasn't my problem.
Well, that's not the point. Some of the drop out because they have personal problem in the home, so now they can receive that problem as school has now.
The problem the school has?
Right.
The school doesn't bring up enough challenges or even make the student realize what challenges he can have, or like a kid doesn't know what he can do or what he can't do, and there's no one there that feels like wasting their time on it to try and show him and see what he can do and what he can't do.
Due to the fact that
All the complaints they found could be defined as a few basic problems, and these were the problems that plagued the Puerto Rican